Hi there, welcome back. Welcome to our platform, Healthy Accord Spiritually. On this platform, I choose to speak on all things spiritual and glean from lived experience, from observation of consistencies and patterns that I believe are rules and regulations that we ought to pay attention to and implement those and follow those rules and regulations that the spirit world and spirit ancestors are guiding us towards. If that sounds interesting to you, to want to be able to understand what are these rules and regulations that she's speaking on and how is it impactful to my life. If you are curious to know more, I encourage you to subscribe to our platform so that way you are notified on when we make a new video. In today's video, I'm continuing the series Pata, Pay Attention to Ancestor. I hope you were able to watch the brief intro. This content is more so to direct your attention to, in my experience, categories that I believe are insightful so you may know the various, situational awareness that applies to paying attention to ancestor. I love using the example when we go driving, when we go to get a driver's license. Many of you that currently operate a vehicle, you do so because you are permitted, you are giving up permission to do so. And before you even got into the vehicle, you took test. And as you were driving the vehicle, you were guided to pay attention to symbols and signs, yield, stop here, drive this many miles per hour. From my lived experience in this lifetime and following the guidance, say, of the moon, observing how animals in nature be, I've come to the acceptance that, things happen primarily based on various factors that the spirit ancestors have already organized for us, and we just receive those. So paying attention to ancestor, this series is more so to educate you on some of those areas that you ought to pay attention to, and also it shall add to your vocabulary and knowledge of what you might consider an ancestor, spiritually and more. Without any further ado, let's get started. So this teaching, let me just switch to my note. I have my notebook here. Now, full disclosure, because as you may have read from my previous video, you may have heard from my previous video, ancestors, your truthful, rightful one, they are interested in full disclosure, truthfulness from my experience. So I shall do that and be an example to you. The red poster there, the image there, is simply meant to conceal my previous, topics and categories I shall be teaching on. That's all that's meant to do. It's a pretty image poster showing cowrie shell. That has to do with something long ago that I did. It is in no way, shape, or form going to temper with you, and it's not meant to be any of that sort. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll leave it there. It's not applicable to this topic. It's just I'm not going to edit this video. My ancestors have guided me to spend less time on the computer, so I don't do a lot of edits. Without any further ado, let's get started. Paying attention to ancestors. So important. I can't even stress that. As you are already seeing here, ancestors come in the form of animals, plants, humankind, sounds and songs, temperature, elements, and water. This situational category speaks more so to, well, what are you currently going through your life? You, the person watching this. It's a rhetorical question, of course. That rhetorical question is meant to point to the fact that whether it is job situational, something you're going through, a life decision you are pondering that you want to make, someone's asking you to do something that doesn't really sit right with you, and you are conflicted. You name the situation, you name the case study, ancestor, they can provide a solution or a guide. And as loving and dedicated and as supported as they are, they show up in these many forms and ways and means. I will be lying to you if I told you that my healing didn't come from all of these forms. I would be lying to you. And as you are part of humankind, it is likely your healing and support system that are these many forms that ancestors can take. Your healing and support system will come in these many forms. I am grateful to the many humans that guided me in the situational scenario when I was pondering a certain decision, or if I had to behave or do something at a job. Humans were that ancestor. Now, of course, songs have been very instrumental, and I shall speak on that and dedicate a video to it. So I also want to draw your attention to temperature. Where we are today is what, April 18, if I even know what date it is, but it is April 2025. Regardless of where you are in the world, you would know what the situational stuff that is happening. In many ways, shape, or form, choose to pay attention to what your heart is guiding you to, towards growth, towards development, towards healing. In my lived experience, paying attention to these ways that ancestors present themselves, it brings about healing. It brings about growth, calmness, and peace. So I encourage you to, when you're out walking in the park, pay attention to the ways that the animals present themselves to you. And from that interaction, go and do a research. What is the spiritual meaning of this animal? What is the spiritual meaning of this plant? What is the spiritual meaning when there's a temperature happening in my life? What does that mean? What does it mean when someone spills water on me? What does it mean when you engage with water in a certain way that just stands out uniquely to you? Research, ask the phrase online. What is the spiritual meaning? Of course, many results will pop up, but you, the person doing that research, your heart will choose what you ought to be paying attention to as to the meaning they are directing you to. So that's what this category is hoping to show you, that in your day-to-day life, these are ways that spirit. Now, I am resisting saying spirit, because yes, spirit is ancestor. And in these many wordings that I have listed here, they are all spirit. Sound is spirit. Song is spirit. Of course, humankind is spirit. All right, moving on. The next category, I'm having some logistical difficulties, pardon me. The next category assigned and dedicated ancestors. Yep, human is important, so we're going to keep that as. Yep. Our assigned and dedicated ancestor. What do I mean by that? Ancestors, plural. What do I mean by assigned, dedicated ancestors? Should you have gone through the technology that is divination, you would already know who and how many forms and ways your assigned and dedicated ancestors already support you and present themselves to you. I'll say this. What is your favorite plant? What is your favorite food? Where do you like to go to that is a favorite part in nature for you? That favorite something that you just have, a favorite color even. The favorite something that you have, regardless of what it is, ancestor, spirit, your dedicated ancestor. They guide you through that favorite something. And the more that you acknowledge them, the more that you engage with them, your favorite something can just expand itself. Our assigned dedicated ancestors are supporting us through the winged form, the four-legged form. Thankfully, many of us have, many of you love your cats, you love your dogs. Well, that's great, because depending on how stubborn you are or how open you are, that is an easy way for them to be able to support you real time. Many of us want peace, we want love, we want all these goodness that the ancient ones have blessed us with. And it is in their unique way, depending on if you decide to have a four-legged one, or you have a bird, or you like to go outside and feed the birds, or you like to go outside and watch the butterflies, or whatever it is. Those are ways that your dedicated ancestors can help guide and support you. So should you choose to use the divination technology to receive confirmation, then you would already know. And if you don't, well, maybe you have a task and ask. Humans, we are seeing humans are showing up again. Humans showed up as a situational ancestor, and humans can show up as dedicated ancestors. The family that, well, from what I'm gleaning into the situation, the families that we choose to enter into this lifetime into, a parent, a grandma, uncles, auntie, sister, brother, you name it, can be a supportive insight and direction. They point you to the right path. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm so grateful that in observing a particular uncle of mine, I was able to allow myself to be more rooted in my medicine and accept that, oh wait, yeah, spirit ancestor is true. Just from remembering how this one uncle of mine, how he engaged with the with the animals. That's right, I said ancestor and I said animals. How he engaged with animals. He would take rice and go just give it to the chicken. I watched more than one family members actually. This is the thing in Africa, when people are about to drink alcohol or water or any juice, any liquid for that matter, they will spill oftentimes a hefty chunk on the ground. And I'm looking at my relatives like, why are you wasting the beverage for? Why are you wasting that water? Why are you wasting that juice? Why are you wasting that beer? And then they would just say, no, I'm not wasting it. I'm honoring the ancestors. And as a child, of course, I'm just like, well, you should have given me that coconut juice. I want it. That memory was a way that humans, more than one humans around me, when it was time for me to, answer the call, I remembered, oh yeah, they did do that. That wasn't weird. That's right. Ancestors are real. And I know to acknowledge that, A, by pointing to that memory, and B, making a connection. These phenomenons are happening around me. I wonder what that means. Oh yes, well, spirit is real because the humans around me did certain actions and behavior, and they explain in a general sense. So humankind is, and thankfully will forever be, ancestors. Oh, we are seeing water show up again as dedicated ancestor. We drink water. Some of us feel renewed in different ways when we are around a certain body of water. So I also want to direct your attention to maternal and paternal living ancestor. Oh, we will put the drama aside, the drama and all the issues and things that people like to chime on and distract themselves, really. So I encourage you not to be distracted with the drama, okay? When it comes to the family that we reincarnated to, again, human is an ancestor, human is a medicine. So ignoring the drama from the family lineage, understand that each person in that family has a responsibility, has a medicine. So paying attention to ancestors, you may want to focus on your paternal or maternal ancestor, or the particular relative that you jive with and vibe with. Because connecting with them, especially if you jive and vibe with them, you both can be a medicine to one another. So pay attention to ancestor. Link up with the resource that you already have, especially if this other resource, if you are not there yet. Based on your comfort level, go to this option. Now, transitioned ancestor. Paying attention to ancestor is so important. For those humankind, we are all gifted. So let's just stitch that. Each human individual is gifted. That's just that. Transitioned ancestors are so supportive, and I am so thankful in this lived experience that I was able to witness the support and love, when we transition from the physical and go into a different beingness. When we are done being physical, we go into a different beingness in the transition state. I'm so grateful that I was able to witness that truth. From there, they teach. They are holding teaching sessions. And from the transition ancestors, yes, what transition means in some of y'all's plain English, oh, the person died, they passed away. They're living. They're absolutely living. I shall not spend too much time on it, but I'm so grateful that I witness people from my family in this lifetime just be in their beautiful self, you know? And some of them came to actually support me. That's right, y'all. That's right. They came to support me. I was struggling with a particular task or something, and they were there to help me. And of course, I received that interaction through the protective channel of dream. That's right, y'all. That's right. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Paying attention to ancestors, and the more that you link up with that, the more that you resonate with it. Do your research, do what you have to do to get more concrete. I don't know how to explain that more, but some people are like, well, I cannot put my hand on it, see it or touch it. I'm having a hard time, with this. So whatever your process is, do that. Do the research, because it is a world of beautifulness. It is a world of support that brings about peace, that brings about love in ways that truly warrant tears and other excited emotions. So transition ancestors are one we can pay attention to. Now, I did mention I was able to receive support. I am so grateful. I am so thankful to my dedicated guards and guardians in the ways that you be for shaping me and guiding me so that when family members from this lifetime transition on into the spirit world, I was able to witness how I supported them. And it is a beautiful thing. When they say the circle of life, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to have been a support to those family members that passed on. And in the spirit realm, I was able to be a support system. And they too, a different ancestor who passed on in the spirit world, was a support system for me. Amazing. Next, the elements. Well, what do you know the elements to be? My teaching, my learning, I believe it is what? Well, air, fire, water, some intangibles, air, yeah, the air we breathe, water, fire, ether, the elements, our ancestor. It's worthy to pay attention to that. Struggling to breathe. What is ancestor air trying to communicate to us? So I don't have that many lived experience that I say that and then I remember a mental image came through. Okay, sure, I will. I will say it. As a kid, the wind physically moved me. Yeah. And you might, say, well, that probably because you weren't heavy or you're not a heavy person. The wind physically moved me. That's just it. I was somewhere, and as a kid, I think I was doing something. I don't know. I didn't want to move in a certain direction. And I wouldn't say it was a heavy wind, but I certainly felt, oh, there's wind. And then I was physically moved. I was like, did the wind just move me? Pay attention to ancestor. So having that memory from childhood, and of course at the time I didn't know about spirit. I didn't know about much of what they've taught me and are still teaching me. So as a child, I was just like, how is it possible for the wind to move me? But anyways, that memory is important because now when I'm outside doing whatever it is that I'm doing outside, and If a wind passes by, I acknowledge, oh, hi, ancestor wind, and just acknowledge how the wind is interacting with the rest of us, with the rest of the trees, and myself included. So paying attention to ancestor through any way that the element would present themselves to you is important. Sometimes they are not there to, warn you or teach you. They're just there to vibe with you. And in those instances, I simply acknowledge, oh, hi, Ancestor Wind. Thank you for being here. The trees. Boy, aren't we lucky? The giants did not leave. Amazing! The giants didn't leave us. So, ancestors of trees are so, so, so important. And I'm grateful that they provide us so many goodness, and paying attention to trees would mean, well, I'll just cut to the chase. Touch grass. That's a phrase that we now say to someone when there's so much static or they spend so much time on the computer that they just feel so wound up so tight. And unless they go outside and engage with nature, they don't feel good. So, well, pay attention. Pay attention to the trees and what's coming up. You're on a computer, you're on a website, you might see a tree symbol or a particular type of tree. The more that you see trees and other plant life and more of that is presented to you, I encourage you to research. What does it mean if you see this particular tree? What does it mean if you keep seeing this thing? Pay attention to that, because should you go forward to research, that would signal you are paying attention to ancestor. And the more that you do an initiative by researching or watching a video like this, your dedicated guards and guardians, your dedicated ancestors are like, oh, okay, they're catching the message, they're catching the signal, they're catching the symbols that we're sending to them, and they give you more, and then they give you more, so you may be more healthy on your journey, so that you are more knowledgeable on how to navigate the ebbs and flows, because the ebbs and flows is what it is right now. But what's abnormal is that going through the ebbs and flows without your proper, rightful, truthful guidance system is like going through traffic when the stoplight is broken. You already see what happens. There is no stoplight, there is no stop sign, and some people are just like, I'm not stopping for you. And that chaos is not right in any way, shape, or form. So navigating the ebbs and flows that we are experiencing now as it is, you want your guidance system. So I will move forward to our next topic. And before I do though, so important, linking up with our dedicated ancestors. So important. It is, I don't even know how much emphasis to put on that. Each humankind is special. Each person, we are all special, and we have dedicated ones. So you don't have to fight the ebbs and flows alone when the support system that's provided to us, they want to support you. All right, let's see how I shall do this. Oh, there it is. Thank you, ancestors, for directing me how to do that. All right. Okay. Oh, I don't want to obscure the montagne. In this section, I wish to speak on location-based ancestor. Oh dear. Spirit is so beautiful. And I'm so grateful that the vastness of spirit allows for us to engage with spirit medicine regardless of whatever. And location-based ancestor is that, regardless of whatever. Many of us, of course, we are here on earth. Present day, we are here on earth, and earth is our ancestor. So in the beginning of this video, I may have said something along the lines of, well, the present current life situation that's happening around the globe. Well, earth ancestor, as you are going through your practice, whether you are at the beginner level, intermediate level, we are all beginners on the journey of life compared to the greats, okay? So should you want to offer a gratitude statement or gratitude something for earth, in honor of earth, or in honor of the mountain, that would be you paying attention to ancestor. And I want to caveat that by saying, as whatever this is that may resonate with you, if you even just nod your head or you stare at a tree and say, oh, I can see how you would be my ancestor, that acknowledgement is paying attention to ancestor. That supports you. So congratulations. Location-based ancestor depicts exactly what I have listed and then some. Many of us now, well, I'm here based on the continent of America. America, the country. Countries too can be ancestor because the land that we live on is spirit. It carries spirit energy. Spirit lives on the land, spirit beyond humankind, because thankfully you are paying attention, as you are already seeing, since humankind is not the only type of spirit that there is. Many that are listed here mix up spirit. So of course the land is spirit. The forest, Europe, Africa, Asia, name a country. That land is spirit. It carries a vibration. So have you been to a particular country and you just feel the love? You feel the love, you feel the goodness. You feel a certain something that looks like, ooh, I really like that place. Could it be you felt that because the humans that live on such a land decide to honor their duty? They honor spirit, not in ways that you would see, not in ways from their actions that you would see, but you may describe them as, oh, they're so friendly. Oh my goodness, they're amazing people. They're welcoming. When you mention those good descriptions of those humans that you interact with, or how the air there is so clean and fresh, or you mention that, oh my goodness, I went hiking in this particular foreign country and I drank from a certain stream and the water is amazing, it tastes sweet. When you have those experiences to speak to, you are affirming that spirit there, they're doing their duty, and you are receiving that goodness through the well-mannered, polite humans that you engage with, or the good air that you breathe, or, oh my God, well, many of us, when we travel to Europe, we mention how the food is so different. Well, the food tastes how it tastes it came from the land. The humans there are not only doing their job to honor spirit, the land, also the winged ones, the four-legged ones, the element, and then some. They're all doing their part. They're doing their part so that you, when you go on a vacation, you're like, oh wow, I want to go back. I want to go back there. So that's it. Location-based ancestors not only, well, not only are they grand and amazing, I listed a location-based ancestor in this category because from my lived experience on the journey of walking with spirit, walking with ancestor, doing our part, answering to our gift, being at a certain location is way that they pass on medicine to us, is way that they heal us, is way that they help us transmute something that no longer serves us. I love when I listen or read about people who had near-death experience, and when they transition from that insight and they gravitate more to nature, exercise, eating healthy. Exercise has a temperament, temperature, and all of that. So exercising, that physical action, would be you paying attention to ancestor. Yeah, exercising. Eating, I'm not going to say eating healthy because who knows what that means. Healthy, eating healthy. So do your part. The location-based ancestor here, they pass on knowledge, they pass on medicine, they pass on a certain something that helps you. So many of our human folks from here are gravitating to different parts of the world, regardless of what reason made them move to a different country. Well, we're just gonna leave that drama by the wayside because that excuse is what it is. It is possibly that that drama was the temperature that they needed to move to the location that they need to get their behind to so that they can get the medicine from the location. Yes, you need to be in that country because for the love of peace, you need that medicine. You need that medicine. You lived in wherever the country that you lived before and you are done with that. You need to be in that space because for all you know, the humans there, the plants and animals there, they need you there so that you can do your part. You are part of a bigger puzzle. That is a beautiful image. So location-based ancestors, in my view and observation, they add guidance, they bring medicine, they bring healing, and you being there, you are supporting that location. So pay attention to ancestor, pay attention to some of your favorite places that you like to travel to. You know, pay attention to that, and may you make the time to do more of that. You know, we all don't want to dwell on regrets. It's a constant. When I hear my human ancestor, when they speak, they were like, yeah, in my 20s, I really like traveling and I really wanted to be a chef. Well, should you have gone that path? You cook your food and people eat food from you at a certain restaurant. Well, sure, you're passing me your medicine. You're passing me the healing that I need. But it's okay. Hopefully that person would have gone on to be that chef. Hopefully that person would have gone on to teach or make a certain art. Hopefully be that seamstress or cobbler or carpenter. Because as you, the human, own up and gravitate towards the places and spaces you are leaving your medicine so that some of us can interact with. I kid you not, I did not come back the same person whenever I come from vacation. I am just not the same. Now, I have here country-based ancestor, because that does not mean you have to hop on a plane somewhere. No. You know, we have our forest, our beautiful parks available to us. You will not be the same should you choose to pay attention to ancestor. You know, as of present, you know, I am gobbling up information about our celestial galactic relatives. You know, they didn't teach me that in school. They skipped that part. They skipped astronomy. So gobbling up this insight, and when as I'm learning the information, I acknowledge, oh, thank you, ancestor, and I name the specific zodiac or planetary relative, you know, that is supportive to me. But that's paying attention to it, because with that acknowledgement, affirmation, that signal has been sent. Oh, okay. Who knows? I will learn that information faster. That's my speculation. I may learn that information faster by acknowledging ancestor that's giving me the information. So pay attention to ancestor. So this section here, we are all travelers. We all like to be around good things and good feeling and good vibes. You like to go for a walk? Keep doing that. You like to be near the ocean? You schedule that vacation however often you are given and can. You go visit the ocean. If you can't, is there a nearby river, pond, creek? Stand there. It's water. Pay attention to ancestors. Gravitate towards the healing, because we all need it and we want it. Of course, last but not the least, as they are giants in their own right, they are all giants actually. Our ancient, beautiful ones. I'll pop this here. Our ancient ancestors. Oh my goodness. They're amazing. I presented this category because it is an important category in paying attention to ancestors, for sure. And in my view, that category of ancient ancestor is vital, because as your dedicated ancestors, firstly, I mean, we all have heard of goddesses, and the cosmos is a real thing, is a real being, because the cosmos, we are part of it. So there is no denying that fact. As hooey, is it? It's real. And feminine, masculine, well, you cannot deny that fact either. It is a real being. Grandmas, grandpas, we cannot deny that fact now, can we? It is a real thing. Our ancients are so important, and there is no particular order that you have to do this acknowledgement in. Should you want to have the guided way so that there are no spammers and scammers, you know, that are trying to pose as what they are not, that's why I would present you to getting more acquainted with your dedicated ancestors. Yeah, because when you do that, they will communicate certain ways to you for your knowing only, for you to be able to discern what's truthful and what's not. Okay? And yes, there can be posers and scammers. I mean, yeah, so we'll leave that one alone. So there is no particular order. You may connect with our ancient ones because, of course, why not? We are receiving the magnitude of their blessing here. So you may connect with them directly should you feel in your heart and rightful to do so. I really don't have much to, state on this, I am just a willing recipient of their love, and I'm so grateful and thankful to receive that because I spent years, and I'm saying years now, I've spent years through and I'm still actually under their guidance and support system. I am with their guidance and support system. I'm still in this area. Sorry, my hat was blocking it. I'm still receiving guidance from my dedicated ancestors. So now I accept that the cosmos is my ancestor. Of course, funny story, but not very funny. I will not spend too long on this, but I'll just briefly state the point that I want to make. When they tried to make me Catholic, and I went through that experience from our earlier years, I didn't resonate with much of what they were teaching, except the figure Mother Mary. When I was about to be in certain tomfoolery behavior within the church, oh yes, I did things to literally make people make me leave, But when I was about to be in certain tomfoolery behavior, I would just look and see her statue, being there. And of course, they have many flowers around the statue. And I would just be like, oh, she's looking at me. Fine, I wouldn't do this. So sometimes, I'm not going to say seeing her statue guilted me from not doing certain silliness as a child, but I would just feel bad for proceeding to do the tomfoolery thing that I wanted to do, because I'm like, well, she's here and I don't want her to see me doing this, so I'm gonna not do that. I say that to say, when ancestors, my guards and guardians, help guide me through just the many channels and avenues that they've guided me through, I'm like, well, oh my goodness, I believe Mother Mary is the goddess that I felt then as a child. Because when I was in that space in the Catholic Church, I just would not do the tomfoolery thing that I wanted to do, and I would do a lot of things to make me not attend church. So, but when I was around the grotto, that's what they call it, with her statue there, and I was like, well, she's here, okay, I'm gonna behave. However grumpy I would behave because, well, she's there and watching, so I would behave. So being where I am, through the guidance and ways that my ancestors are guiding me to steep in my medicine, I'm so grateful that that energy communicated, that goddess energy, that's what I want to say. I'm grateful that the goddess energy from Mother Mary communicated to me, of course non-verbally, as a child, And I'm grateful that that memory, and of course, I still accept and acknowledge Mother Mary. Of course, Jesus, I acknowledge and accept Jesus too. He's an ancestor. He hasn't done anything to me, you know? So, yeah. We're family, people. Um, so I don't have much to say, of course. Oh, yes, I will continue and say this. Some of you, my brethren, whether you believe in spirituality or not, some of you, you have a good knowledge of the many names of gods and goddesses. And I encourage you to pay attention to that, because should you pay attention to that in your unique way, that you are following, quote unquote, the fantasy, route, that would be you paying attention to ancestors, the gods and goddesses and queens. Some of you know the names. I am not knowledgeable in that way, in any way, shape, or form. But I love when I engage with my human ancestor, regardless of ethnicity. Some of them would just rattle off, say, from the place of India, they can list to you the many names of goddesses and gods. From the place of Africa, regardless of your ethnicity, you are knowledgeable of the gods and goddesses' names. And I love listening to you, my humankind, when I engage with you, because yeah, I'm not going to do the research, but by you speaking of their names, the gods and goddesses and kings and queens, there's a reason why you have chosen to just learn that part, that string in history. There's a reason why you are weaving that information into your beingness. And only you will know, because as you go to evolve on your journey of walking with your spirit ancestors, you will see that you learning of those gods and goddesses names, the kings and queens names that you know and can just rattle off, you will know why you learned that in your earlier years and why you were so passionate about it. I don't spend a lot of research and times with that string, but I'm grateful when I engage with humankind through the passion and years that they spend. They can just teach me within 10 minutes of communicating with them, and I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love that. And when it comes to the knowledge about the zodiac, some of you are so knowledgeable, you can just rattle off that details. Trees, some of you just know a lot because you study it and you are expert in it. So by you doing so, and the things that we are gravitating towards, like me, I'm standing in my medicine, I'm standing with my medicine. As an African woman who they try to make Catholic from earlier years, I'm standing with my medicine by teaching about our spirit ancestors. More so, pay attention to ancestors. Pata. And that is all I have to present on this topic. I hope this was supportive to you. And yes, of course, this is a long teaching here, and I'm intending that all of what I've said in the directed, sometimes roundabout way that I explained it, I believe, should you listen with your heart, something in there will not only resonate with you, I believe it can be quite instrumental to you, especially with the ebbs and flows as it be. Have a blessed day, and I will invite questions. I don't do that often on here because there's a responsibility when people ask questions, especially if you ask them to ask question. That means I'm giving myself a responsibility and homework. I encourage you to leave question, only question and if there are supportive comments, how any forms that ancestors can and have take, how has that been supportive to you? I am so excited to hear what you have to say and also receive your question if you have any. Have a blessed day, and do stay tuned for the next video where I shall present on a particular map that I want to speak on authentically. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.